Hi folks, and welcome to The Big Show with Chris Meaux. I, of course, am Chris Meaux, and that music that you just heard playing there on the intro, I want to go ahead and tell you who that is. It's a group from New Orleans called the Soul Rebels, and that song is called "I'm Confused," which I thought was very appropriate as a theme for my show. It's the new theme for the new show, and you're watching version 3.0. So if that means nothing to you, then you've watched none of my other videos, and I got nothing else for you. We have a great show, I think, today, and by we, I mean myself, and also I do have a guy in the back there, and he's not going to talk. He's actually going to get a credit in this show because he's been helping me with some of the technical details, and his name is Mike Slauson. So Mike, you want to say anything back there? No, Mike's not interested in talking. Yeah, I'm so glad I invited you. Also, you can hear in the green room, which is my living room, our guest. He's there, and because we don't have a budget, so there's no green room, and it's more of a beige. I would say it's a beige room, but that's our guest, and he'll be on shortly. His name is Roy Pettifies, and he'll be on. He's an author, a speaker, a counselor, any other ER or OR words you can think of that might apply to him. He's also those. So anyway, on to the monologue. And if you haven't noticed yet, if you focus right here, you're going to notice that I'm sweating, and not just sweating profusely, which is the only way I really sweat. There's no middle ground. It's kind of like me and tanning. I don't go from chalk white, like my normal color, to this nice brown mahogany. No, I go straight to red, pepperoni shaded, just blood red, boils. It's quite lovely. And if you weren't hungry before, you sure as hell aren't now. Thank you. Roy just vomited on himself. He's got problems. But anyway, so what am I doing to cool down? Drinking some hot coffee. But anyway, that always makes sense. But I'll tell you, how hot is it? Because I know what you were about to say. Gee, how hot is it? It's so hot this morning. And I was over at the Walmart, and it's not the only one, but that's what people like to call it, the Walmart. I was over at the one over on the north side of town, or, I'm sorry, I don't want to offend anybody, Upper Lafayette. I was over at that one, and it was so hot, as I'm going in my car, a snowball stops me and says, excuse me, could you give me directions to hell? Do you see why that is? If you don't get that joke, well, you need to ask somebody. But no, now, on to something that also did happen, because the snowball thing really did happen. I think it happened. But I was in Walmart, and I was looking around, I was shopping in the t-shirt section. I was looking for a Batman t-shirt. And as I'm moving there, there's this guy, and I get out of his way, and I say, excuse me, and he doesn't say anything. He just kind of walks by, and then he's not that far from me, maybe about 4 feet, and he goes, oh! I'm kidding you not, I sound like a zombie. He goes, oh! And I wasn't sure what was happening, if he was dying, maybe soiling himself, maybe the both of them at the same time in that order. I don't know. But man, it was terrifying, and I thought that's something I'm going to try to avoid in the future. So, anywho. Well, we've got some news, and one of the bad things about doing a monthly show, or in this case, a yearly show, but we won't go there. One of the things about doing a yearly show and is that I've been, I watch the television there, I read the internets, the interwebs, the news sites, and I find stories that I fancy. That sounds really, really masculine. But I find stories that I fancy, and I write them down, news stories, and then I make the monologue bit. And some of it you may have already heard, and that's fine if you've heard it, okay? But you haven't heard it through the lens of Chris Meaux, and that's really why you're here. Now get this. Now there's a guy, his name is Tyler Gold. He's a 23-year-old guy. He's from Nebraska. And this guy decides that he's going to legally change his name from Tyler Gold, which I'm going to say it's not a bad name, right? But he changes his name to Tyrannosaurus Rex, legally. This is his new name now. And he tells the judge, he says, the reason that he cites is, as an entrepreneur, name recognition is very important, and it's a cooler sounding name. Okay, now cooler is going to be important later on. Now, what's interesting, this is just how the world works, how news works, how fate works, if you believe in that. Mr. Gold became Mr. T-Rex. I don't know if he goes by that, but I mean, that would be the obvious short name. Just like Bob is for Richard, or is it Robert? Who knows? He became Mr. T-Rex the very same week that paleontologists actually discovered, and this is true, I'm not making this up because I'm not this smart, that they think that dinosaur farts contributed to prehistoric global warming. That there was so much gas, because these things, they're not, they're massive creatures, they're huge, we don't really have a scale to, we don't conceive of animals that large, and that their gas actually contributed to prehistoric global warming. So now there's a third part of news here. Upon learning of these two news items, former Vice President, creator of the internet and Nobel Prize winner, Al Gore, held a press conference. He did this very quickly, right after he heard these two bits of news. He stated his intentions that he wants to monitor Mr. Tyrannosaurus Rex's emissions, and if necessary, he wants to place him in what you might remember from back when he was vice president, a lockbox to protect the Earth from further warming. Now, you see, if you don't know the lockbox reference, that whole joke, it makes no sense. It's just terrible. So probably that's about, I'd say 90% of you don't get it. Speaking of farts, though, because I'll tell you, when it comes to comedy, you can't go wrong with toilet humor, unless you are sophisticated, intelligent, and well-read. But no, a blooper reel from promotional interviews with Gary Busey has come out, and his new movie is Piranha 3 Double D, and it has yielded a veritable cornucopia of new crazy for all people to savor. So let's go ahead and let's roll that beautiful Busey blooperage.
Piranha 3 Double D.
Hi, I'm Gary Busey. Hi, I'm Kermit the Frog.
You throw the dynamite in the pool, it blows up, piranhas float to the surface, and you pick them up and you fling them like little fish frisbees, and they'll sail through the air, and the rats will eat them when they're dead. Rats, vermin, squirrels, mice, maybe even a badger or a wolverine would get a piranha.
Strike that. Edit. Yep. Strike that.
Humans are toys, pieces of meat, a Chateaubriand, a filet mignon, a ribeye steak, surf and turf.
See the movie so you won't see piranhas showing up at your house dressed as however they want to dress. They're still piranhas. Just watch the damn movie.
Like Angus, Holstein, Jersey, Heifer, Siner Gertrude, Brahma, Charlet.
Intestines and piece of meat that look like a steak tartare, like you have never eaten steak. Eaten steak, eaten steak, eaten steak, eaten steak.
I hope you're understanding me because I'm not.
Hey!
You go, quiet!
I'm afraid of straight man here. You met.
Bye. Okay, gotta take a breather. I'm done. Don't I have to get up every now and then to fart?
FART is feeling a rectal transmission. And this cow felt a rectal transmission.
Wow.
You'll probably be writing me a fan letter asking me to get out of the business. But I'm not going anywhere. Okay.
I gotta go now because the cows are calling me home. The cows are calling me home.